Hello, good evening and a warm welcome to Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios right here in downtown Colombo. And this evening our guest is Mr. Dhammika Ranatunga, former CEO of Sri Lanka Cricket and the eldest statesman of the Ranatunga family. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening for us, good evening Bandula, and to all our viewers.
Thank you for being on our network. It's a great pleasure actually to have you here. And as usual, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Faraz.
Bandula Jayasekara, senior journalist and former diplomat. This evening, the top story really should be the news, somewhat sad, that Kumar Sangakkara, the national treasure, is actually retiring. So the Colossus is retiring. And then we have Oba. We also have another story that Volkswagen, the auto giant, is signing an agreement tomorrow to open a assembly plant valued at $30 million. More on that in a little while. Bandula, Lakshman Kadirgama's 10th anniversary today.
Yeah, 10th year he was assassinated exactly 10 years ago.
Today is his
10th
anniversary.
Yeah, 10th anniversary, and his daughter Ajita Kadirgama launched a book today.
And what was that book called?
The cake that was baked at home, we can show our viewers. It was launched at the BCIS, and where Radhika Kumaraswamy was the guest speaker.
I see. What's happened to the people who were responsible for his killing?
In fact, that Mr. Kadirgama's son Ragi also said that they still haven't found his killers. That was
10 years.
10 years ago. So he questioned that they want to know the truth.
Have they been caught?
No, there is no idea. There's nothing conclusive. So that is what he said. He was very keen in his very emotional speech Ragi gave, and that's what he wanted to know.
Dhammika, you live in the States. How do you view this slow justice system that you have in your motherland?
I think we got to be more proactive in our every aspect that we are faced with. The delays, it's frustrating for the families in this instance. Every family needs closure, and I understand their frustration. They need to have closure, and as a government, we should be able to provide that to them.
Bandula, Lakshman Kadirgama, a truly outstanding Sri Lankan. How real was his prospects of ending up as the Prime Minister of our country?
What I feel is, having worked with the former president, and then where Mr. Lalit Weeratunga, Secretary to the President, had told me that where Mahinda Rajapaksa really looked up to him a lot. But I can say something with authority where Mahinda Rajapaksa, when he was a president, he has told me, if Lakshman lived, 50% of my problems would have been solved. What he said was, because of the handling the international issues, the international pressure, that's in relation to that, and where even Mr. Weeratunga said that how the former president looked up to him, and I think it's correct. But I mean, there were talks that he could have, or he would have made him, because of the campaign against terrorism as a strategic move.
Mahinda Rajapaksa's foreign policy was almost non-existent and was the cause of much concern. So do you think that having Lakshman Kadirgama Lakshman might have left it all and gone back home?
No, I think no, because I think lots of people looked up to Lakshman Kadirgama, even the former President Chandrika, she looked up. So I think things would have changed. I know of one instance where when Lakshman Kadirgama was Foreign Minister and where Mahinda Rajapaksa was Prime Minister, there was a small tussle because Mahinda Rajapaksa's pet thing was the Palestine issue, where Lakshman Kadirgama,
he was the president of the Palestinian
but where Lakshman Kadirgama had to balance it off on issuing a statement, but he handled it quite well. Because he got a bit agitated because he was Prime Minister, but where Mr. Kadirgama handled it quite well. So he had the stature to handle this, and because people looked up to him.
There was a story some time ago that Mrs. Kumaratunga, then President Kumaratunga, was considering appointing Mr. Kadirgama as the Prime Minister. Was that true?
I mean, there was a talk, and I feel that, I'm sure the facts or the newspapers at that time would speak for it, that where I think she wanted to come back, abolish the executive presidency, come back as the Prime Minister. So she was trying to use Mr. Kadirgama in interim, because I don't think anybody else would have given it back. So that was the thing, and I would feel it was, so then of course there were a lot of confusion. Mahinda Rajapaksa got worried, because of course he had political ambition, so it was sorted out, and then Mahinda Rajapaksa was made Prime Minister.
I'm minded to ask this question. Let me ask it. Who killed Lakshman Kadirgama?
I mean, it is, I have all reasons to think, having worked with him, that it was the LTT, because he always expected, he knew he was the #1 target of the LTT.
Very sad though, isn't it?
Yeah.
With his connections at Oxford and so on.
And which he did, like Faraz, I was telling you, I was fortunate to be with him at this, when his portrait was unveiled at Oxford, when he gave this famous speech. So it was really an honor, and which he brought lots of credit to the country, unlike today's politicians.
When did you last meet him?
I mean, few days before his death. In fact, we were discussing about this book, where I think Mr. Kirinde's book, where Trinity College was involved. So
Not
few
that
days
school.
before. Huh?
Not that school. Was he an old Trinity?
Yes, definitely.
I see. So you met him, what, a few days
About
before?
5 days ago. But he was, and then he called, he was very concerned that, I think it was an expensive book done by, I think, Singharaja Delgoda. And then he wanted, the Trinitians to buy this book. So that was the reason. But today there was this commemoration where Tissa Jayatilaka spoke how they met at BCIS 10 years ago, and few hours later that he was gone.
Very, very sad, and it's essential that we remember great statesmen like Lakshman Kadirgama. And in fact, one of the bigger problems this country is facing is the need to have more ethnic politicians, because the LTT, no thanks to them, destroyed many of the Tamil politicians. Many who had sound liberal values and so on.
Like Neelan Tirushelva.
Indeed. So we'll leave that subject now, and let's move on to a bit of family politics, perhaps. Dhammika, as the eldest statesman of the Ranatunga political family, how do you keep control? Do you keep a control on your 5 brothers?
I don't know whether it's the right word, control. We have a good dialogue.
Yeah.
When there are times the opinions differ, I'll get a call and that matter is discussed, and we talk to the other party about it and try to understand what really happened. Because there's a lot of stuff going on at this point where a lot of things are reported. We don't know how far the truth is said. Right. So there is always a dialogue. There is no control. Each one is allowed to do what they want. They're free to follow the path they wish.
The Ranatungas are almost everywhere. We have 2 with the former president. We have 1 who's helping Field Marshal Fonseca. We have another who's studiously keeping away from active politics. And we have 1 who we have to think about, but Captain Cool is now in the United National Party. So, do you get calls from time to time from each of your brothers saying, look, he's doing this and the other's doing that?
Time and again, yes, they do.
So you're playing a bit of a Henry Kissinger role, are you?
It doesn't happen often. Time and again they do when it's serious, and then we try to find the truth, what the truth is. And
Do they listen to you, Dhammika?
Oh, pretty much. They do. Sometimes even they defer to what I think, but that is okay, because each one is allowed to follow the path they wish to follow, and they can. We are not one block, you see. I mean, we are 6 brothers, but okay, we had a foundation. Our parents gave us the guidelines. Then, for me at Bandaranaike Mahavidyalaya and later to Ananda College, when after 2nd grade, I moved to Ananda College. Our teachers gave us a great foundation. They made us leaders. There were 2 things that we always discussed at home, because my father was a politician, politics was one, and then obviously cricket. I remember one time my father said, there's no more cricket, we can't discuss cricket at the dinner table. So, you know, there were pretty much only 2 subjects that were discussed at our place.
Which were?
Cricket and politics.
And not necessarily in that order.
No, when we were young, sort of, cricket took most of it.
But
I think that's why my father
for
said.
like so much of politics crept into cricket.
Indeed. Dhammika, you were the first CEO of Sri Lanka Cricket. No mean achievement, that. And so you must have your own views as to what's happening at Maitland Crescent, this center of this country's aspirations, whether you're from whichever community you are. Maitland Crescent, cricket is the unifying factor. You must have some thoughts. What do you think? What's going on? Why is our team not doing very well today, for example?
I think it over a period of time we have grown by volume. The amount of cricketers we produced and amount of cricket that is played, it's grown drastically. What we got to understand is, with this growth, you have to support it with the other areas. Like it's like a pyramid. If your pyramid is this high performance line up here, and your volume is down there, you keep expanding the volume. If you don't support it, then your top collapses. I think pretty much that is where we are at this point of time, because it's a combination of funds that are available and how far you can go with the development and keep that peak level up there. These are the 3 combinations that you have to focus on and plan your strategy to run.
Okay, we're going to have to take a quick commercial break, and we'll rejoin you shortly. Stay tuned to Newsline. Welcome back to Newsline with Bandula Jayasekara and Dhammika Ranatunga. Bandula, you had a question.
Yeah, Fadasna, I'm wondering, and I want to ask Dhammika. Now, suddenly we find Sanath Jayasuriya batting for the United National Party. That's the news today. Do you think he's following Arjuna, or has he been influenced by Arjuna?
I'm not sure. I haven't had a conversation with him to answer you sort of truthfully. But I think Sanath's family comes from a very strong UNP background, and for whatever the reason, he moved and worked with the SLFP for a period of time. And so it's not surprising he moved back, as far as I'm concerned. But I can't answer you truthfully without speaking to him and finding out.
As a Sri Lankan who now lives outside, and so looking in, what's your honest view of what's happening to our country politically?
I like to reserve my comments on political opinions until the elections are over.
But do you guys, when you live abroad, do you guys follow the news?
We do. I mean, I talk to my brothers, I listen to news online, and then try to clarify, find out what the truth is. I do.
Okay, you're in a high-tech industry. What do you feel is the investment climate here in Sri Lanka as viewed by, say, an American company?
I think we have to be more user-friendly. I mean, anyone coming to invest in this country, you cannot go through million rules and regulations. These got to be streamlined, and it should be user friendly. At this point, I'm experiencing that. It's a nightmare sometimes. It's just the way the system is, and people, there are lots of delays getting approvals and getting things done. Sometimes it's because of how it's regulated, sometimes it's the inefficiencies, sometimes the people who are holding office, their knowledge of what needs to be done. So it's a combination of a lot of things, but I definitely think we need to be more user-friendly.
Good. Bandula, the other news in the other story making the news even is the story about Wale Suda. He's given a loan to a politician.
Who's?
Domingo Silva. This guy is some chap, underworld figure, facing charges. He's given a loan and he wanted it back, and he says that he had a couple of white vans sent around. What do you make of all this?
So I think now they are having this case, so I'm sure a lot of things will come out, and so we'll have to wait and see.
So all these stories about white vans coming out.
Yeah, but I always wondered, Fawaz, why white vans?
Yes,
why?
you made this point before. Yeah.
Why? I mean, if people, are they so stupid to get caught, or like they can use any other...
Well, white's not so noticeable, is it?
Oh, maybe, yeah, that's the reason.
And perhaps, like school children who have a uniform, so perhaps the operators of white vans wanted uniformity.
But whatever said and done, this has discredited our country.
Yeah.
And even the international press has reported this over the years, which is not good for Sri Lanka.
Have you had a white van issue?
Not, I know you have had, but not me.
I think they were in a car in my case. But, this going back again, I don't want to upset the Tajuddin family any more than we have to, but it's absolutely awful, don't you think? This chap who was having an evening out and dropped his friend, then abducted, and then subject to the most gruesome torture, according to some
but
reports
for
we've
us,
had.
my point is, okay, fine, like, see, the family should, they should rest in peace, but, I mean, aren't they making or trying to make political capital out of this?
Well, it's political capital only because it's come out now, and yes, they probably are. But, however, in terms of justice, I think no time is like the right time in terms of justice.
True, but I would say let the authorities, let the law take its course. You know why? I mean, when you see so many politicians coming out and speaking, so don't you agree with them? They should keep quiet.
I think so, because
it hurts the family.
The way I see the news, I think no one respects the families of this kid, and that's not fair. I think you should let the authorities do their job and come out with a statement after finding the truth. The rest got to stay away from this and get on with their political campaigns, because
that's true.
It's affecting this kid's family who is already gone through.
As a sportsman, what do you feel for a fellow sportsman who is subject to this sort of interference into his liberty?
Forget being a sportsman. I think as a human being, it's not fair what happened to him.
Absolutely.
Provided that
absolutely.
Whatever he said is true.
Also, I think we should commend like Harsha. When he was there, he was very honorable. He refused to comment because he
yes,
said, so
he
that's
only
the way
commented on the grief aspect.
Yeah, that's the way the politician should behave. I thought he has set an example.
Indeed, yes, it's refreshing that there are people who take that line and who don't jump into every boat that's leaving. We also have a story that the Deputy Minister, Sujiva Singh, filed a complaint with the SSP in the area against a police sergeant who's not behaved properly. It's refreshing that they're complaining against policemen. Usually it's the other way around.
But I think it's good, it's like you said, it's refreshing. I mean, there's complaints, counter complaints.
So this is the Yar Palane.
Looks like.
Has Yar Palane reached Maitland Crescent, do you think?
I don't know. At this point, there are a lot of things being said, and when you're not inside, you don't know what the truth is. But I think, as far as the administration goes, I think they have to get back to the system where there should be elections, and then the people appointed to hold office and run the establishment. And
the ICC are insisting on that, aren't they now, under the new rules?
Yes, they are. I think ICC code states certain things that each country got to follow. It's changed from the time I was there. I haven't ready to know exactly what changes have taken place, but I know for a fact that they don't like political interference. There shouldn't be politicians making decisions. So if it is in conflict with the code, then we are going to have a problem. I think we faced that with badminton. And
is there a case to persuade Kumar Sangakkara to play a role off the field now and come to Maitland Crescent and make his own contribution to cricket administration? Is there a case, do you think?
I think it's up to the individual. If Kumar wishes, then there is a system in place. He got to figure out which part he would fit in best that would benefit Sri Lanka cricket, and then there should be a dialogue and find his way. It is not like I can tell him just because, for example, I'm the minister, I want to go and put Kumar there. No, there are certain rules that you have to follow. There are certain things that has to be done for you to get elected.
Indeed.
But even for us, I'm sure, like, take Ranjan Madugalde. I mean, he's doing us proud as the chief match referee.
Definitely.
So I'm sure even Kumar can play a very international role and do the country proudly. I think he'll be a very good diplomat for the Sri Lanka and for cricket.
I think this country is not ready to let go of Mr. Sangakkara. They want to see him involved in this game, in this noble game, for some time yet.
I think it's not fair by the chap. It's not fair by Sangakkara, because he first got to sit down with his family and plan his future. If he wants to be part of the system, then if it is appointment, not elected role, then there should be a dialogue with the party that is in office and say, okay, these are my thoughts. This is what I think I can contribute. And what are your thoughts? And then there should be mutual consensus and follow through. But if it is an elected position, then there's a system that you get elected, right? There are clubs, nominations, elections, all that has to happen. So which part Kumar wants to play is something he got to decide, and then take the path as per the laid down guidelines.
Excellent. Dhammika Ranatunga, it's been a great pleasure having you on our network, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your stay in Sri Lanka before you go home.
Thank you for having me.
It's a great pleasure. Thank you. And Bandula, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you for us.
It's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
And perhaps we should leave you with this quote. No one saves us but ourselves. We alone must walk the path. On that note, I shall wish you a very good evening, good night, and God bless you.